Morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Happy hump day.
Moving right along. What do you got today? You got first strike.
You're going to hate me because I'm moving my chair.
No, don't worry about it.
BJ's back there like, God dang it. Will you just sit still?
What do you got?
I got nothing. I'm going to be the cliche person that's like, oh my God, it's cold outside. My face hurts. It's in the negatives. That's all I got.
That's it. All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. We'll catch you next time.
I saw one cool thing this morning. It's an incredibly short bit of information. It was just kind of cool. It was an Instagram reel. So again, I don't even know if it's true or not. It looked real. It was talking about somebody put human ashes under a microscope and was talking about the idea that you can create, like, energy can be created but not destroyed, and it never goes anywhere. And like, there were these pictures of these slides of human ashes under a microscope, and there's color and there's light and it looks like galaxies, looks like space galaxies. And I just thought that was the coolest thing.
Do you think there are galaxies? Do you think there might be, some kind of existence?
Like in Men in Black, Orion's belt.
Right. Do you think there are little people there maybe?
Oh my God. Now I wonder.
Yeah.
Maybe. Thought it was cool. I thought it was super cool.
So you don't want to go down to Crazy Town right off the get-go.
That's
for later
it's
in
so
the programming.
Futile. Since what day would that have been? Monday, I guess. I'm so sick of fighting with people. I have learned something about myself over the last couple of years, probably since having kids. One of my biggest pet peeves personally is having to repeat myself.
What's that?
I hate you. Is people not listening or listening to argue, not to understand, putting words in other people's mouths. You didn't like what you heard, so you're going to put words in their mouth and say that they meant something that they didn't mean.
Okay.
It's futile. It's annoying. It's frustrating. And I, much as though I would not continue to argue with a toddler that doesn't have the capacity for reason or understanding, I'm done arguing with people that don't have the capacity for reason or understanding.
And so, like, at the beginning, you were making the argument that human beings are social creatures. And those
I still think we are.
Oh, okay.
I still think we are.
Okay. And so Kelin's about to check out of conversations with people because they can't handle conversations, right?
Certain conversations.
There's ego. And
not all people. The ones who can't handle it.
Okay. Yeah. Now, the list of people who can handle it, is it a big list? Is it a small list? Is it a waning list?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. It's probably getting smaller.
Yeah, right. So we're social creatures, and yet all the other social creatures are making it harder to have connections and communications with, because there's not a curiosity to understand things. It's a ego that wants to broadcast opinions and make other people fall in line. A tyrannical relation.
Yeah, like social creatures that want to be around like-minded creatures. I feel better when someone is agreeing with me. I feel better when I feel validated. When someone jumps on my bandwagon, it's more uncomfortable to be social with someone who does not do those things. And I think the biggest frustration I have is it's not even like there's a lot of fighting right now on two sides of people that disagree. I think those in higher powerful positions keep us fighting when we're not actually disagreeing. I think you can have two people that are actually on the same page that have been trained and manipulated to fight each other. It's inauthentic. It's not even real. But we're trained to fight each other, so we don't even listen.
Well, I'm telling you that I think that's human beings' default state. I think that there's a balancing what keeps us behaving properly is the competition of and threat of punishment over good behavior versus bad behavior, right?
Mhm.
The idealist would argue that people are good natured and they're going to find, classic morality in their behaviors. And when you actually put it in practice, they're dead wrong. You could take, those 5 or 6 year olds and put them in the same room and we're like, hey, the social interactions are what's important. And then they start like beating up on each other and bullying. And we're like, well, hey, maybe social interactions are freaking dangerous, right? So what gets people behaving? Technology's allowed us to kind of take in a backseat. And if we're sitting across from one another, I have to listen to you, and it's improper for me to punch you in the face if you say something that pisses me off, right? But when you go into techno world, then there's no balancing factor. You can say whatever you want with anonymity. There's no repercussions for saying stupid things. There's no repercussions for lying. And so the powers that be, the people that have the controlling forces, make more money when there is more chaos, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a nefarious plot. We put them in power and we give them attention when they can take a crisis and put it on full display. And we gravitate towards it. It's the same reason why when we drive by a car wreck, we pay attention to it. We are pre-programmed to pay attention to crisis because we should be engineers that try to fix things.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, we're gossipers who want to look at it, not get involved on, not make it better, but share our sophisticated opinion about it while making nothing better.
Yeah. And like you said, while we would be talking, if you said something I didn't like, I wouldn't just punch you in the face. You would if you had 10 others behind you on your side.
Yeah.
You would say, oh, now I'm in a group of people that are acting and thinking the way I do. Now I do have the balls
take
to go
any
do
primitive
something.
tribe. You take Native Americans, you take people in the Amazon jungle, and basically what they do is they put small tribes together. And some of the other tribes they don't like, and they fight them and kill them and take their stuff. They ally with other ones that also have common interests and whatever. So primitive relationships aren't idealistic relationships. There's a reason we're friends, right? And I can illustrate and write out the reasons why we have overlap in interests, and it allows us to cooperate on things. But it's not a permanent thing. It has to be achieved. Well, we lost that ability to adapt, and we let the idealists take control and say, hey, I'm going to take these terrible people. I'm going to force them to be close to you. You're going to have to tolerate them. And we're using our words to argue higher principles. And we're going to complicate that by putting a bunch of stupid people that don't have the capacity to even understand those sophisticated things. So the default setting of human beings is we will war with each other. Fortunately, it's with bad intentions and words, not physical spears and arrows. So we lucked out.
Yet I think it's going that way.
I'm glad you have joined my side on this. I really have.
It's sad. It's sad to me. I was in a conversation with someone the other day, and one of their points was they don't like the fact that I stay middle ground. They don't like that. Mm-hmm. They think I should be on a side.
Yep.
I would say most intelligent people can see both sides of any situation, any discussion. I don't think if you can't argue the other person's point and explain the other person's point clearly, you probably don't know what you're actually talking about. You don't have to agree with it, but you see it, you understand it. To me, the ability to be down the middle and see both sides of something shows intelligence. To say, no, it is black and white, it is this, there is no gray area, tells me you're either an extremist or you don't actually know the full situation.
Why do you have expectations okay, so let's just say you had a toy store and there was a toy store on one side of the road and a toy store on the other side of the road. Mm-hmm. Parent came in and said, I want to get my kid this doll. And they're like, hey, we don't sell that doll, but the place across the street, if you want your kid to be happy, they have it completely. Now that salesperson would be like, what the hell are you doing sending someone to the store across the street? You should have totally brought them onto our side and sold them something we have. So who's the asshole? Uh-huh. Is it the sales rep who obviously didn't know where their loyalties lie and they sent business to the other side of the street? Why would you have expectations that if the template and the die is cast, that's how we behave. We pick a tribe. We're loyal to them even when they're wrong, right? We try to convert people into a bigger tribe that will, ally with us and war against the toy store across the street.
Yeah, the thing is in that example, there's a reason that makes sense. I want you to do this thing because it benefits me. People are actually missing that point. It's you're being pitted against someone because it benefits somebody else.
Yeah.
Not you, not the situation, not the world you live in. You are a pawn to benefit someone else.
Everywhere, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's across the board. Would it be helpful? Like, you and I have a pretty big voice. We get to, talk to the Youngstown and the nation on a regular basis,
whether they like it or not.
and we're paid attention to. So it would benefit the Democrats to convince us to be all against Trump, right? And never say a bad word about anything that part of the Democrat principles. We'd be a great ally, right? And the Republicans, same thing. It would be really good to have an unbiased person that wouldn't say a wicked word against Trump and say bad things about everybody else. So we're being constantly pursued and trying to be recruited to pick a damn side because you're wasting people paying attention to you with all your unbiased, objective behaviors.
Yeah, I keep hearing now, I heard one side, and I don't even want to use names because unfortunately people stop listening the moment they hear something that they can use against you. They don't listen to understand and follow your point. They hear a buzzword and they shut you off. I heard a person release some statement like, this is no longer a political discussion, it's a moral one. No, it's not. That's manipulation. They don't think it's a moral one, or else they wouldn't be putting you in their fighting position. It is political. It absolutely is. Because the idea of this is about morals, we have them and they don't. We are good people and they're not, is emotional manipulation. It's used by both sides. Both parties do it to keep us fighting because it's too obvious if they do it. They're in power positions. They want to keep the power. It's too obvious if they play that game and annoy the people. So they manipulate the people to fight that for them. I know people on both sides of the political aisle that have the same morals, the same moral compass, believe the same things, are equally good people or bad people, whatever. They're the same. And we're manipulated to think we are different and we will fight each other. And it is a political ploy, not a moral one. That's a lie. That's manipulation when both sides do it.
Okay.
That's in my opinion.
Well, it's an obvious truth.
Yeah.
Debate is dangerous to zealots, and keeping an open curiosity of something that should always be under discussion. Because I mean, think about it. When you were in your 20s and you were listening to everything that was all the political ills, every problem that needed to be solved, right? And then you fast forward to today, we're talking about the same exact stuff. Only today, people have more an overconfidence in what they feel is truthful and real. And they've sabotaged open discussion by drawing a line in the sand and saying, now you can't question this thing. This is established consensus.
Yep.
And you will not say, I mean, if Trump is a Nazi, and we've said it enough times, and a lot of people agree with it. So now I was going to talk about this last show. We ran out of time. Predicated science is one of my the things I am most afraid of. Okay, are you familiar with? Well, let me just explain instead of
okay, because I'm probably not.
Basically, predicated science is scientists try to do explanation of things in the natural world, in the in every discipline of science, trying to make sense of it, right? And science is the pursuit of constant curiosity and finding out new information about things. Well, science gets predicated when it establishes a known truth, but then it creates another science on top of something, right? And so you get this tower of predicated sciences that the base level you can't question, because there are so many sciences that are built on top of that base level. So let's just say that we, environmental sciences or archaeology, like let's just say we establish carbon dating, right? And then we predicated we know how old this thing is, right? And now since we know how old this thing is, now we know about the civilizations that were around that age. And now the civilization that their cultures were that, and the weaponry and the sciences. Well, what if I came about and said, hey, carbon-14 dating is wrong once you get about past a certain one? The scientists look at their tower and they're like, well, if that one's wrong, then every supposition along the way in that tower is also wrong, right? And so science then starts pushing back against changing the sciences that are the original predicates, because they know everything falls down once you remove the foundational layers of those curiosities. And our sciences are so sophisticated now, there's a lot of predicates that need to be preserved and protected, even if they're wrong, right?
Yeah.
So for dark, you know about dark matter?
I've heard of it.
Okay. I have objection with dark matter.
Okay.
Right? Because dark matter is basically an explainer. So basically have these calculations that say if you have a space and you have, we have planets and we have things, right? It should have so much mass, right? Well, when we make a measurement on something and there's some missing mass, like our calculations for how much mass something should have, and we're wrong, and it's like uncalculable. Like there should be 500 pounds here and there's only 400 pounds. So then scientists are like, well, there's missing matter, right? So let's create dark matter that should be there, but we can't measure, right? It's invisible matter. Do you see any problem with the dark matter thing?
Sounds like something we just made up to explain it.
Something we might have been wrong about, right? So the answer is not making sense. So rather than going back and trying to reformulate and figuring out why our matter calculations were wrong, we just create a fictitious dark matter. And on the other side of dark matter, we also have dark energy, right? And so dark energy is filling in the void of uncalculable things that should be there but aren't there. That tells me that there's some mysteries in science that are unexplainable, and it's used to kind of protect, or, like we went to a new solar system and we were calculating the matter that should be there. Well, we need that formula to be accurate. And when it's not accurate, we need to put in little variables that carry the rest of what should be that isn't.
And isn't that kind of the same argument that secular scientists push back Christian scientists on is, oh, you can't explain it. You just chalk it up to an invisible God, a magic person in the sky.
But that's a theme that when we're wrong, rather than going back and risking the predicate of those sciences, we'll defend them and try to make sure no one takes aim at them.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people sort of are of this mindset, like you said, where here's a baseline of what we believed, which led to this, which led to this, which led to this. Well, once we're on that third level, if you question the base, how you got there, well, that may be wrong. It's no. We've already put that to bed as fact. That's right. That's done. That's
it's the
fact.
Same defenses.
Yeah. And it's like, but it's not. It could be wrong. And then argument ensues.
Yeah. But the defense, like, for instance, racism, right? Racism being the predicate of a sort of like controlling power and having political voice and being able to wield your desires. What happened if racism disappears? It's the pillar of all of the currency that in your industry. Can you ever have racism disappear and not know that your power crumbles if something that could be solved is solved? It'll never happen. Racism will always be a thing. And even when it's not a thing, it'll be referred to, and you can't question whether or not racism is there or not. It's so sacred to the pillars of your power and your control that it has to always exist.
If something is eradicated, it requires something else to change. And that, I think, is scary to people and uncertain. If a disease is no longer an issue, anybody that has been working on getting rid of that disease now has to pivot. That can be a little friction there.
What if your whole identity is rooted in the thing that's going to change? So You don't want that. You're going to preserve and protect the thing unsolvable. So we watch it happen with pharmaceuticals, in politics, in people's lives in general. If it's happening everywhere, it's probably just a part of human nature and what we do. So instead of being outraged by it, know that that's we're primitive species, and in large groups, we're going to do that no matter where we go. If you don't think that, everybody hates corruption, right? But when you have a chance to be corrupt, like let's just say the judge and you can get something thrown out. And so when the corruption benefits you, it's not the bad corruption, right? Because everybody else is doing it. You just got your slice of it. But if we talked about a politician being corrupt, it would be a vice. It would be a sin, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we are in a society now that we don't even have to wait for specific groups of people to feel the friction of something getting better. We won't even get there. There's a whole pipeline of other things we can make a problem. There's a whole, I can't even believe when it comes to AI, the AI I've seen on social media to push a narrative. It's not even good AI. It's clearly fake. And we eat it up and we use it to fight something. And it's like, what? Anybody that wants to control a narrative and push something in a nefarious or malevolent way can do it all day long. It's so easy now. It's so easy because we've been trained to not push back. We don't look for truth anymore. We don't look for unity anymore. We don't look for the real enemy anymore. We will fight tooth and nail each other, and we're manipulated to do so.
Okay.
And what do you do? What do you do about it?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's always been there, and it will always be there. So
let's
just
move more
on.
effective now.
I gave you 20 minutes to get that off your chest. Do you feel better?
Which, by the way, you gave me a nightmare.
I did.
This was maybe a week or so ago. Speaking of AI, quick story.
Yeah.
Had a dream. Now, I will also say that this night I also watched The Dark Knight again. Heath Ledger.
Yeah.
So good. So I understand the setup of this dream. There was a bank robbery in the beginning of that movie. And in my dream, I'm in a large group of people in some building. Some people come in and make everybody get down, kind of like a bank robbery, except they weren't robbing a bank. They were people that came in with computers and started telling us all that there is another multiverse that we are all now going to live in, and we have no choice. They're like, you can fight it all you want, but it's going to happen. Here's the multiverse. And they pulled up a demonstration of how every single person in our world is now an AI figure in a computer. We aren't human anymore. We have no control. We will eventually go into this world and just be AI. And it was scary. And I was like, no, we're not. We're pushing back. And then, like the Matrix, a phone rang that sucks people into this universe. Phone rang and my son picked it up and got sucked in. And I screamed and wailed and was like, give me my son back. And it was so emotional. I woke up, heart pounding, couldn't calm down. Husband had to rub my back, breathing heavy, wigging out. This wasn't real. My son is okay. And then I was like, God damn it, Joe. You and your multiverse and your AI.
You just got a glimpse. That's
oh my God. It was so scary.
Your brain is being prepared for that inevitability.
That we're all just going to become machines.
Yeah. I think, though, just knowing you, that you're going to take the stake. You're going to go in willingly. It's not going to be this scary introduction. You are going to be clamoring to get in.
You know why I'm not even going to push back on that? I think you could be right. Because I have felt, especially lately, this strong urge to just turn it all off. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see anyone's post about anything anymore. I'm not listening to the news anymore. I'm not listening to anything anymore. I'm done. I'm done hearing about it. I choose to go and just live a life of peace.
Yeah. You're going to go into your pod.
Yeah.
And they're going to pipe you on a beach for the remainder of your existence. And you will be creating thermal energy and electrical energy for the robots who control you. And you'll be.
And I'll die peacefully.
That's it.
Rather than amped up and stressed out.
Okay. Yeah, don't get stressed out.
The
next time you have that dream, I want you to use your ability to control your consciousness. And when you start having that dream,
I could.
No, you can. I want you to tell yourself that you're going to go back into that rather than push back against the hackers in the bank that are trying to force you into it. I want you to get in line in front of the dude who's permitting people in and say, I am all in. Can I make some requests for my version of the multiverse transfer? That's what you're going to do. It's going to be on your terms. And it'll be made better. You'll be like, this is luxury.
Well, how do I trust that they make those requests?
You're going anyway, right? What's the downside? If they're going to push you into it and it's going to be on their terms, if you make a couple suggestions and you get your way, worst case is the same thing happens and they denied your request. Go willingly.
You're going to give me more nightmares.
No, just make it good.
The anxiety is rising.
Just make it good. Speaking of movies, since we did Matrix and we did Heath Ledger,
The Dark Knight.
So
good.
Did you see they're making Dirty Dancing 2?
No,
yes.
But wouldn't this be Dirty Dancing 3? There's Dirty Dancing Havana Nights.
Okay.
What are they doing now?
They're doing another Dirty Dancing.
Okay.
So I was watching a bunch of movie music overlaps yesterday, and Dirty Dancing came up a bunch of times on there. Now, were you a big fan? Did you know every line of that movie?
Yes, I like Dirty Dancing.
At that age, did you understand all of the dialogue and understand the
when it first came out? Probably not. No,
yeah, a lot of stuff went over.
Yeah, I probably didn't know what was going on with the blonde girl. And
did your parents permit you to watch a movie like that?
Clearly,
young age? Yeah.
I saw it. No, I don't know how young I was. When did it come out? I couldn't. 87. So I would have been 13. And who knows if I saw it when it came out, I might have even seen it later. But I liked it.
Yeah.
I like Dirty Dancing.
Okay. And my point was that, artistically we're getting really lazy, and we have for the last 5 or 6 years, where the movies that come out are lacking so much substance, just a rehash of plot lines. There's nothing creative. There aren't, big risk takers out there. I heard an interview with Matt Damon when he was doing Project Greenlight, and the way that movies get pitched changed over the same period of time that we're talking about, where there's so much money in it that there's not a financier that's going to be comfortable with something that gets spent $100 million, right? So I got a $100 million movie that is a little bit of a risk because it's out there. One of the, a director or a writer made something that hasn't been done yet, right?
Yeah.
And you got $100 million to make a superhero movie where you just put new characters in a plot that's been, thrown out there hundreds of times. You as a financier, do you want to take the risky one, or do you want to take the one that's just in the can, 100% chance you're going to make money on it? Which one you take?
Probably 100% chance.
Right. Yeah. And so that's the era that we're in now. It's not that people are unwilling to take the risk. The people who bankroll these movies and make $100 million movies won't take the risk, and therefore we get deprived of the real good movies that could be possible.
I did just read that they're doing another Wolf of Wall Street, which I've not seen. I've heard good things. Dude. Is it good?
Wolf of Wall Street is.
I've heard it's really good. I've seen snippets. Well, apparently Paramount, I guess, is doing this. It's called The Real Wolf of Wall Street. And it said it will include more features, more material, more government documentation. They said the whole plot is even more, how did they word it? Like nefarious and debauched than we even know, or something like that.
The first one was bad, right?
Yeah.
As far as debauchery goes. So if this one is worse debauchery, I can't imagine what that even means aside from murders and whatever. So yeah.
Well, they said later this year. Have to keep your eye out for that.
Yeah. So, but you have these two streams of production of content. You have the stuff that's 100% certain. You've got the clickbait movies that everybody's going to go and see, and it's not even you leave knowing that you just got a piece of candy is what you got. And then you've got the artsy movies, right?
Yeah.
And they're not usually any good. They're usually too artsy, went too far in certain directions, and either one are not palatable to general audiences.
Yeah.
So we are stuck with what's being created now for a good period of time.
Yeah. Like I love a good movie where there's like a good plot twist, a good make me guess what's going to happen, make me shocked at the end. But you can go too far to where it was so convoluted that you're like, what? That's so out there. Nobody would have guessed that because it doesn't even make sense. Like I love the Knives Out films with Daniel Craig. And I like the idea of a mystery and you got to solve it. And then at the end, you're like, whoa, I can't believe it was them. I saw the most recent one and I just went, that's a little too convoluted to be cool. Like it's cool when, of course, I should have seen that. Everything adds up. This one's almost like it doesn't even add up. You just did whatever you had to do to make it work in the end. And
there's a series on Netflix called Dark, and it's actually it's produced in Germany. It's all in German language, but they subtitle it. And they put English over top of it. What's that called when dub it? They dub voices. Now this series is amazing. The only thing I dislike about the whole thing, it's about time travel, right? And you got this wormhole that's created, and characters can go forward and back and meet versions of themselves and their family. And it's very there's like 30 characters that you have to follow in this thing, and I would consider them all main characters because they all play very distinct roles. And because you now have 30 characters that are moving around and remembering relationships and who was whose mom and whose kid was who and where they were, there's a lot to remember and keep track of. And in the first series, like when you nail it and you get to know the characters, it's complicated enough and it's so well done because it was so complicated. You just know the writers did something special with this series. But then in the second season, they understood that it was getting too complicated for normal viewers. So what they started doing was they put like breadcrumb frames in there. So it's like when you're looking at a character, they'll slide a frame of where they at and who they were in the same character. And now like where it took higher thought and you were trying to remember everything, now it's like the Cliff's Notes version where they're doing that for you.
Yeah.
And it ruined it for me. Like that was the fun part. Like when you go to you ever do escape rooms?
No, I want to.
Escape rooms are awesome. They put little puzzles in there and you have to go through the puzzles and figure stuff out. And it's very difficult most times. But then some of these escape rooms were built for 10-year-olds, right?
Yeah.
And they make the puzzles so like I'll overthink a dumb person's escape room because I'm trying to go to a higher order on the riddles. And
it's got to be cooler.
Like, go to the door and turn the key twice, right? And I'm like, they're trying to trick me. This is a red herring. It's got to be more complicated. And you go to the door and turn it twice. It's like, the door opens. You're disappointed because of how easy it was.
Yeah.
Right. I like ones where you have to go to 6 different books and pull different words that are underlined and really assemble it because that was more me. Right. I just wasn't going through it. I'm really good at escape rooms.
Yeah. Like I've seen movies where I'm like, so help me God, in the first few minutes, I'll call it. I'll say, if at the end, it is this person did this because of this, and I'm right, I'm going to be mad. From
the first year, yeah.
I'm going to be mad.
Yeah.
So there's a sweet spot of like, make it cool, make me surprised, don't make it too easy, but make the surprise make sense. And have you ever seen the movie Mother with Jennifer Lawrence? It came out years ago. You would know. You would know if you did, because this movie makes no sense. 100%. Husband and wife go to a house. Her husband's a writer. They're trying to get away so he can write a novel. Michelle Pfeiffer's in it. And what ensues in that movie, I can't even explain. It's like a dream. It's a dreamlike state. It is all of a sudden the setting changes. All of a sudden a character comes in that they don't know who it is. Then it changes again. And then she's like, and it's this woman that's just like, what the hell? Like, is dreaming. It makes no sense. And my husband and I watched it and I said, the only reason I'm not turning this movie off is I have got to see how they justify this. I've got to see the end. And what were they doing? And what are we watching? Is someone going to wake up and this was all a dream? What? And it ends not making any sense. And I had to Google, what is the movie Mother about? And you will find it's all imagery. It's all what's that word? Like when something represents something. Anywho, it's all like, it's about the Bible and the book, The Giving Tree, and all these literary works, but it's like an interpretation and a representation of those ideas. And I was like, you went too deep. You lost me.
And never tied it back.
Never ever would I have said, oh, this is clearly a visual representation of the book, The Giving Tree, with some undertones of the Bible. Like, no, it was, what did I just sit through? Mm-hmm. Am I on acid? What is happening?
Well, when AI starts putting together movies, and let's just say one of those movies was put together with AI, you would blame the movie that AI is just not a human. A human never would create that terrible compilation.
AI's just confused.
It's random things tied together. Right?
Yeah.
When all AI is going to do is watch us and give us exactly what we do, a mirroring of what it is to be human. And so, like, in the future, what was the other one? Oh, I got one too. There was a documentary, I believe, on Netflix. It was called like The Secret or Hidden Apartment. Did you happen to see that thing?
I don't think so. No.
This thing was pitched and I was super fascinated with it. So it's a group of kids,
familiar.
A group of kids that went to a mall. I believe it was in like New Hampshire, some New England state. And when they were building the mall, somebody was watching the construction. They lived close, a couple streets over from it. And they were watching a portion of the mall that had like the building materials and the staging areas. And they watched this little, 800 square foot parcel inside the mall get walled off. So you had this void inside the wall. Well, these kids discovered that they could make their way to the void. It wasn't being used as anything. And what they did was they snuck in and built an apartment inside the mall. And they had it for like 4 years without the mall ever knowing that they created
that they were living
secret
there.
Apartment. I'm hooked, right? I want to know how they did it and what they did with it, and give me the schematics and show me what you did, right?
Yeah.
And it was the biggest disappointment because I think the thing was like an hour and a half. I bet you there wasn't more than 12 minutes that actually highlighted the hidden secret compartment or the secret apartment.
Oh, geez.
The rest of it was talking about political arguments. They were talking about their art careers. The whole thing was such a waste. It would almost be if, what's the Capone's vault guy? Geraldo, right? It's almost like he would have spent the whole hour rather than fussing about the vault, that he went off into left field and just started talking about whatever was important to him. Like every audience
like
would
you
be
were
like,
lured there under false pretenses.
Actually, absolutely scammed. So
yeah, BJ said he started watching that, bailed because it got super boring.
Really boring because they missed the point. They missed
like,
the
did it feel
point.
like they said, hey, here's a really cool story, come listen, and then they got your attention, you're like, actually, I just lured you here to give you my pitch.
Arts and showing off their artwork and their whatever.
They wanted to pitch you their pyramid scheme, and
that's exactly right. It was a bait and switch documentary, which could have been so effing cool if they. There were some interesting parts, like how they got all a couch, a fire ladder, and all that kind of stuff. But man, it was so disappointing.
Oh man!
But that's where we're at right now.
Yeah,
that is creative output that we're seeing everywhere. So that's my big complaint.
How do you feel when you get new music and it's just a remake, like a sampling of an older song, and maybe they change the lyrics?
But in music, it's different because there are only so many chords that can be played, only so many different sounds that can be assembled. So for you to create an original work that doesn't overlap something that's already been created? Very unlikely.
Yeah.
Right? And so especially if you have an artist that did well with a song, and then you could just bring it back out, and it's almost like the movie template where do we do a superhero movie or we do an original design? Well, if we know the superhero movie is going to get an audience that's built into it, why would you not pay some license and get a sampled sound and have an immediate audience?
Especially like you said, are you going to take something that you know has been a proven success and build on that? Or are you going to go out in left field and take a risk on something totally new that may flop?
Yeah.
They're like, well, this song worked, I'll just build on that.
Yeah, but there's a danger for the consumption of content. I think it's called Maya. Do you remember talking about Maya a couple years ago?
Yeah, we talked about Maya.
Yeah, so Spotify played with this in the early versions of it. Spotify was all about taking underrepresented music, things that were actually good, but you just didn't know about them. Spotify was an absolute flop at the beginning because people, when they were listening to music, have a tolerance to hear something new. But if they don't have something that's familiar, they will tune out.
Yeah.
And there was an accidental bug in their algorithm that started playlists and started putting like familiar songs sandwiched in between ones that were new. And so if you heard a song you knew, followed by one that was unknown, and then followed by one that was known, nobody checked out, nobody turned it off. They were able to consume it.
Kind of like when a band is performing and they have new music, they're going to do their hits and then here's some new music and then here's some more hits.
Yeah. So in music and movies, if you could just give a little bit of familiarity and just a little bit of unknown, new kind of experimental genre or new experimental plot lines, then it's more palatable for your audience. Because audience determines what gets put out there. And if the audience are dumb, then the material gets dumb.
Speaking of that.
Yeah.
Well, first, BJ says The Mortician is a great new Netflix doc about a dude that was doing crazy stuff to dead bodies. Oh, let's watch that. We've been talking now for how long about art, music, movies? Other than BJ, thank you, BJ, for interacting. Crickets.
Yes.
Crickets on our feed. No phone calls, no typing in, no interactions. I know they're watching. Mm-hmm. The moment we say something controversial, the moment we say something that makes somebody mad, the moment we say something they don't like, that feed is going to scroll. And that's exactly my point from earlier today. Like somebody type in, tell us you're watching this. Say anything at all that lets us know you have eyes on this. And it's crickets until we bring out the negativity, the fighting, the manipulation, pitting each other against each other. And then, let's fight all day long. Let's go. And guess what happens when you do that? Other people make money, gain power. Thank you, Carter. Hi. See? Carter, what's your favorite movie?
So
song?
In talk radio, all right, it is all about interaction with callers and the audience, right? And you can complain that a lot of talk radio hosts, they get very repetitive in what they talk about. And the audience set the tone for what the hosts say. So if we talk about music and you don't get any interaction, what's the likelihood that you're going to talk about music ever again?
Not likely.
But if you say something like Trump's a dingbat and you get 5,000 people that call and whatever, you're going to, and if let's just say, I'm going to try every day and say Trump's a dingbat. It gets 500 calls. And why would I ever say anything other than Trump's a dingbat?
Yeah. There are videos that I get fed online, like people that I like to watch. A lot of them are makeup artists or they're talking about clothes and fashion. So I'm interested. And I will see these content creators put out the exact same thing. They just reworded it. You're telling me the exact same information. You just titled your video differently and you showed up wearing something else. We're talking about the same exact thing, but that's their sweet spot. And they know all I have to do is put out content. It's all I have to do is put out content. It's a throwaway. I just need engagement and it works. And the more negative, actually, the better it works. Carter says, I haven't watched a movie in years. I just watch you guys.
See, Carter's so loyal. Thank you, Carter.
Carter's our bestie.
But I think that creating way more silos, keeping people's interests separated, taking the people who spend way too many hours a day paying attention to things they can't do anything about. Think about how many hobbies there used to be where you would get it. Like I watch videos all the time on physics and science. The audience in those things are just super interesting because they keep it completely away from the world of politics. There's nobody nobody's angry when you're, watching a chemist, combine some different things and making a new. It's
just neutral.
It's exactly right. But as long as the interest, the red meat crowd wants more of the stuff that makes them angry at each other, and then instead of reinvesting that time into, it could be as brain dead. Like there's some shit that I watch that has an audience of like 12, and I eat it up because it has nothing to do with politics.
Have you seen, I don't know the name of it. There is a new, I don't know if you'd call it a platform or an app or a product. I don't know what it is. There's a new thing out. I can't think of what it's called. It's like the opposite of brain rot. It's brain something. You know the term brain rot when you're mindlessly scrolling? It's content you meant to sit and scroll, but it's all informational. It's scientific facts. It's interesting pieces of information or literature. It's, hey, I bet you didn't know this. It's cool things that actually engage your mind and give you bits of knowledge and things you didn't know rather than pointless stuff. Mm-hmm. And I am so interested to see how successful this becomes. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of hope in it, but I hope it does well. I'd like to see it. I got to figure, I'm sure it'll be served on my algorithm again. I've seen it a couple times, but it's like, download brain, whatever the opposite of brain rot is, I think is the name of this thing. Download it now and stop mindlessly scrolling through stupid stuff and start scrolling through random bits of cool, useful information that might make you smarter.
All right. So what would be the pitch if you want to convince people that spend that time in engaging with things that make you smarter and make you more capable? Mm-hmm. Give me your pitch. What's going to make me want that over?
In our day and age, you have to almost pitch it in a negative way.
How?
The information you're consuming now is detrimental to you. It's harming you. It's dangerous. It's making you sick. It's making you depressed. It's giving you anxiety. It's making your relationships strained. It's making your life too heavy, and it's rotting your brain.
So you think brain rot people are going to take a reasonable approach as they didn't know that before?
No. They do know that. But you can't spin it in a positive way. You can't be like, hey, would you like to feel good every day? Would you like to learn something new every day? Would you like to increase your mental capacity? People, unfortunately, smart people maybe, but the majority of their audience of everyday people don't gravitate towards that. We gravitate towards the negative.
I love that you believe in people that much, but there's all in us.
It's a proven fact. Negativity sells.
But
you have to spin it in a negative headline. What are you going to read? 7 foods to keep you healthy? 7 ways you're being poisoned and you could die. That second headline will get more engagement than the first. It's been measured.
Now you're arguing against yourself.
How? I don't like it. I don't want to go that way.
But my question was, if you wanted to appeal to the masses and get more people off, right?
Yeah.
What is the strategy? And you had a reasonable appeal, which we just admitted that's not going to work. You can tell people, okay, so let's use smoking, for instance. A lot of people smoke in the 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go around and do you see a bunch of smokers outside?
Not like there used to be.
Okay, but in the 80s and 90s, we told everybody it causes cancer, it's terrible and whatever. And that was a reasonable argument against not doing something. And we watched it happen in spite of all of the information of what it was causing. But today, there's very few smokers that are there. So what did we do? It wasn't a natural effect. We didn't market our way into make people making choices about smoking. What was the appeal that made there less smokers outside of buildings? Right?
I think back then they had a positive appeal that people gravitated towards. It was look cool, relax, get a little buzz,
so
feel
you think
good,
they took commercials off
be
of it,
sexy.
And then they lost its appeal?
I think they smoked because they thought it was okay. and a good thing.
Bull crapalol. Everybody knew it caused cancer.
Oh, after a while they did, yes.
Yes,
but I think the
anyway.
messaging of positivity was louder than that. And I think that they wanted it was also addictive. I mean, it's not, I think once they got hooked from the positive messaging, you could tell them the bad stuff all day long. They're addicted to it. So it's harder. I think 70s, 80s, and the people of today are different. How would I word this? Differently brained. Our brains are different. We're rewired. I think what appeals to us now is probably different from what would have years ago. I don't like it, but there have been studies that say negativity sells. Bad news sells. You want to pull up a news channel that says no bad news. This is all positive news. We're only writing uplifting stories. They're not as successful as the news organizations that have doom and gloom and scare tactics every day. They're just not. Why?
I think two things cause the smoking thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm taking the brain rot ones and comparing it to smoking because it essentially does the same thing. One psychological, one physical. The downside risks don't happen immediately. It's something after 30 years is when you start noticing what you did to yourself, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And number one, cigarettes went from $2 a pack to like $6, $7 a pack.
Yeah.
So it removed a lot of the ability for people who wanted or casually would smoke to justify so much of their money going towards something they weren't really bought into. Right. So that was number one. Number two, you stop seeing people that you admired smoking in television shows, smoking in movies. You watch movie stars, musicians, none of them really smoke. So if you're emulating someone who was cool and none of those cool people were smoking, you had a cultural pressure where those people weren't influencing it and catapulting it. You had the expense where it got too expensive for any casual. So if you're a smoker right now, you're doing it for you and you're willing to invest a lot more money than we did in previous generations to be able to do it. So those are your cigarette loyalists. It's not a cultural, phenomenon. It's more of a financial and a loyalty phenomenon.
Do you think if social media were no longer free?
Yes, exactly. Go one for one. What's going to cost? What's it going to make? What's it going to take to make it less of a pursuit?
My brain's just like.
So who pays right now?
Who pays for social media?
Yeah. Because you're not paying. It's being paid on your behalf by someone else.
Advertisers pay to be on it.
Okay. So if, let's just say, the next generation, they don't like advertising whatsoever. They won't tolerate it at all. Now they have to decide what if every scroll was 10 cents. Right?
Yeah.
Then you could be on it, but it's just going to get very costly the more that you consume. So you're limited by the cost. Once it's being paid by someone else, you'll consume all day. The buffet will be endless as far as you're concerned.
Yeah.
And advertisers love it. But once you decide where you're constantly inundated with commercials, you don't like that fact, then, it changes the dynamic. There was a investigative report on Google. Right. And this is kind of nefarious. This is kind of shitty.
Shocker.
So Google was the search engine that everybody used. Right. And it was the best. And they were the only one. Everybody else, like if they had 80% of the traffic, then the rest of the 20% was spread out over Yahoo or whatever. Everybody went to Google. They had a thing. Right.
Yeah.
And their advertising feeds were populated with sponsorships based on searches. So you can type something in, you get some products and some sponsored ads that go along with what you legitimately searched. But what you were actually searching for is on the list somewhere, right? And it was very useful tool. And then AI started competing with people Googling something. Like nobody Googles things anymore. When you want to know something, you just ask ChatGPT. And how many ads are being supplied to you when you do your lookups? Well, they watched ad revenue go way down, right? So then they're like, okay, well, we got to make our sponsored ads more prominent, right? So if I went on Google right now, and maybe I'll illustrate this, and we'll actually do one of them if it works out. But what they're doing, the nefarious part, is they are actually, got my foot caught on a wire. And so what they're doing is, if you typed in the example was somebody typed in like a skinny fridge, right?
Yeah.
There will be in the sponsored ads a couple of segments of skinny fridges. They nail it on the sponsored ads so that skinny fridge, there's something to buy right there. But if you look at the results that are below that, the organic ones, they're on purpose misserving. So the ones that you actually search for are not skinny fridges, right?
I have seen this.
Yes. So they're actually killing the ability to search for things, but the sponsored ads are like perfectly focused and deliver exactly what you're asking for.
There's been a couple times I Googled something to get more information about it, and it was so incomplete, one-sided. I couldn't find any real information, like nothing. And it just looked like it was all sort of showing me whatever it wanted to show me rather than what I was asking for, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're reacting because their sponsorship dollars are getting less because people aren't just Googling things. ChatGPTs and Groks, they're just delivering exactly what you asked for, and it's bypassing the primary focus of what Google's business model was. And even like we talked about, what was it, Instacart? I think that's who, Instacart. So the dynamic pricing. We complain about dynamic pricing.
No, what's dynamic pricing?
So if you go to Instacart and buy products, okay, depending on who you are and the content that you search and other products that you've purchased, your pricing is set on what it thinks you can afford.
Shut up.
No.
This is real?
This is real.
On Instacart.
On Instacart. And so if you are if you're on the bottom end of the financial hierarchy, then your products are a different price than if you are on the upper end of the financial hierarchy. And airlines been doing the same thing. Like they'll change their pricing based on how many times you've looked at the page and who you are and the other things you do. So if they can get a price that they know you'll pay for, it can be completely different than a guy who comes like right after.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think people have known for years. I don't know if this is still true or not, but I've always heard if you want to buy a flight, look on a Tuesday, because if you buy too close to the weekend, they know you're desperate and they'll charge you an arm and a leg. And if you buy too closely after the weekend, it could still be high. But the further you get towards the weekend, the more it goes up. So pick a Tuesday, and that's your best option for a lower price because of their competition. But I have also heard if you look it up repeatedly, it's going to go up.
So should you be able, as a seller, charge whatever you want for a product, or should it be commodity based where once you put a price up, it has to be uniform for all of your buyers?
I feel like it should be uniform. Now, I can understand the idea of changing prices based off of other factors. But based off of simply the person buying it, feels wrong.
Okay, so what other factors would be better?
If I'm selling you a product and my costs have gone up, I don't care who's buying from me. I'm raising it for everyone. If I run a sale and I'm saying, hey, 50% off, here's the price, it's that for everyone. If there's a reason that mine will fluctuate, it's not going to be who walked in. It's going to be things that make it make sense. If I'm like, oh, on sale, buy this today for $10. And I see you walk in the door and I was like, actually for you, it's 20 because I know you got it. That feels wrong.
Okay.
Don't you think?
Well, I mean, I don't necessarily think once that genie is out of the bottle, when you have formulaic pricing and you can pick what expands and what contracts your pricing, I think there's some benefits to that, right? But in the long haul, if we set up two different computers, you logged in as you and I logged in as me, I wonder how many Amazons and how many eBays and how many of those other sites are also doing the same thing.
Yeah. Like, have you ever booked a trip through like a TripAdvisor or something, and it's a different rate than if you would have gone directly to the source?
Exactly. Yeah. If it's purely just supply and demand, then you can see that, if somebody's holding an event, and if you buy early, you get a lesser price. And as time goes on, that the price goes up to give an incentive to buy early so that you sell these things out. People don't wait till the last minute, right? Well, that's formulaic pricing. It's dynamic pricing based on when you purchase, not who it is that you are.
Why can we see with such clarity manipulation in business and not politics, social media, or world events?
I mean, me specifically?
I guess I shouldn't say everyone, but why can masses see tactics used in other realms, but not in the realm that they are in? Is it like the slow boiling pot and you're the lobster and you don't realize it's happening because it's so gradual and manipulative?
You're just not surprised because the presentation is everything. Like, if you knew how politics actually works, it's almost like going to a restaurant, right? When you're being presented the restaurant, you're at a table and it's perfectly clean and your server's super nice to you and the food really tastes good. You were presented a portion of it and you fall in love with the illusion of the front part of the restaurant. If you worked in that same restaurant and had the interactions and watch how the preparation happened and where the food was sourced and how those people really are when they're not in front of a customer, your perspective changes. You're not bought into the front end illusion. You know the whole scheme of things. And you're like, I can't believe anybody eats here. Like, your omelet was just on the floor 20 seconds ago. But to you, it was never on the floor. It was perfectly prepared. Someone who was polite and intelligent, and they had all of your interests at heart, right? And that's why I'm saying, like, politics does a better job of containing the illusion. In the marketplace, it's a little bit easier to dig down through and find out what's going on. It's easier to describe how I can manipulate a price based on some algorithm and you understand it because we've been on the other side of those transactions, right? If kids were doing snow shoveling and they set their prices static and they went up to the mansion, right, at the end of their house, and they're like, the whole time, 15-year-old version of you is like, this is going to be more money. Like, I know I'm going to make more money because they've got a mansion, right? Driveway is the same as everybody else, but you got more. In your brain, you're like, well, that person will give me more money because they have more money. So we understand that we're tolerant of the mansion charge, but when it's us, when we're the mansion customer and somebody comes along and says, oh yeah, you had a BMW in your driveway. Looks like you're doing pretty well off. Your quote is $10,000. Right. And if you just a moderate house, a moderate car, and I don't feel like you got it, like, I'm going to say yours is 5,000 because I think you can afford less than that other person. Yeah. But politics actually, they'll take theft of, stealing from billionaires because they think they got it. And they'll almost make it a noble gesture to go after people. So we've almost, siloed it where we don't feel, terrible about going after people because they can afford something.
When I was a teenager, I remember I had a good friend of mine. I don't know what she was thinking. She must have been going through a rebellious phase. She would rip off hood emblems of like Mercedes and expensive cars. Like in a crowded like Cedar Point parking lot or something. I want a Mercedes hood emblem, and would rip it off of a car and steal it. And would say, they can afford this car. They can afford to replace that. I'm not putting them out. And I would say, you don't know that. Maybe that's a borrowed car. Maybe that was left to them by a dying relative. Maybe it was completely paid off and given to them as a gift. Maybe they put every cent they have into that and they're struggling because they chose to spend their money on that and that was their choice. There's 100 other examples in which they're not just rolling in the dough and that won't affect them. Would you say I was naive in thinking that? And that, no, most likely they could afford it, and that's an immature way to look at it? Or would you say that person who's assuming it is the naive one?
Because I know it's human nature, and you're going to be judged based on what you can afford. That in my case, let's just say you're getting a quote on something and you can hide and keep your privacy that they don't know. Get them to quote you before they've seen what you have and what they think you can afford. The problem is that the reason that Instacart and YouTube and Google and all of that, the reason they can judge you is because you've given them every sliver of information and given up your privacy completely. So if I were to go buy a plane ticket right now, I would mask my identity and never give up who I was. You don't know me. I'd go on a completely blanked out computer that I've never logged into anything. I've never searched anything before. I put myself through a VPN that looked like I was at the freaking equator or middle of the North Pole, right?
Yeah.
So when they're giving me a price, I want their algorithm to say, I don't know who this dude is. So I'm just going to have to go with the middle of the road, not ultra low, not ultra high. This is the brand new version of it.
The next time I need a flight, will you do that for me?
Yeah,
really?
we'll do that. And I want to record it to see. I want you to do it both ways. I want to use it as an example of how your price was juiced because it knows a lot about you.
Well, what about like, okay, so I have to take a flight next month and I'm going with a group of other people that all got their flights. There was a flight that took off at like, I think it's like 4 or 5 a.m. And it was less expensive than the flight that leaves at 10 a.m. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I'll pay it. I'm not getting up so early that I'm at the airport by 4 a.m. I'm just not doing it. Like I'll spend a little extra. No, it's not an insane amount, or else I would have just bit the bullet and done it. But it was a little bit enough that I said worth it to be there at a reasonable daylight hour. That makes sense. Because it's cheaper, it's less convenient for someone. Would you say something else then went into that pricing, did something other than convenience, I guess, in what someone's willing to do go into that pricing decision?
Yeah, if supply and demand, it means that if you have a flight that is harder to fill, then you have to lower the price for it to be an option for more of your customers, right?
That makes business. Sense. Yeah, exactly. That's a reasonable reason. But you wouldn't say there was something other trickery in there other than...
But they could say that you just went on and you just booked a hotel room. You just booked a hotel room.
So loud, it scared me.
And now you have to buy a flight because you're not driving.
Yeah.
Right? Now you're locked in. So your likelihood that you're going to not take their flight just lowered. So your price can go up because it's more certain that you're going to need a flight now.
Yeah.
Now, if you do them first, right, then you might make the hotel more expensive because it's like, oh, they got a flight here. They got to stay somewhere. Now the pricing goes up. So the supply demand, the more they know about you and the more, the more assumptions they can make about you, the price can be dynamic, not a commodity item, can change based on your behaviors directly before it.
Yeah. Do we have a call or no?
No, that was it disconnecting.
Oh. Yeah. And now I'm thinking too, I was like, well, when I get there, I need some form of transportation from the airport to where I'm going. If I wait last minute to figure it out, am I going to pay more than if I book something ahead of time?
The car? No, cars are usually pretty. Okay. Yeah, they're pretty static. Like I don't see much jumping. Airline tickets, yes. Retail goods, I absolutely see. Electronics, like off the charts. And because a lot of these companies are putting AI in the back end of things, you don't have people that are adjusting these prices. You have formulas that are deciding those things, and you can keep adding parameters that make the prices fluctuate depending on when you go. And if I said, hey, AI, I want you to set my pricing where I get the most amount of sales at the highest absolute price. Well, it's going to think differently, and it's going to put parameters and say it's going to study behaviors of the buying public, and it's going to see when they're likely to do something and when they bail out on something and adjust their things, right? So that they get the most amount of sales for the least amount or for the most amount of dollars.
And this all makes sense to people when discussing something business related or that is not high emotion driven.
Yeah.
We don't see this in our current climate.
Mm-hmm.
That's so frustrating, Joe. It's so frustrating for me.
But if you're a politician and you know what works. You know what will make someone vote for you.
Yep.
Would you not do that thing
No,
as soon as you know human nature?
You probably would.
And then you'd have to convince human nature not to do those things.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen.
If I know being a bulldozer and going in gung-ho is going to appease and appeal to my voters, I'll do that. If I think being more quiet and emotionally manipulative is going to work, then you do that.
You're going to do that. Yeah. And that's what politics has, an audience of people that are willing to play that game. And the game is absolutely willing to deliver those constructed or curated things to make us all crazy.
Does make us crazy. And it's funny, Carter says, I'm just holding back, ready to pounce on Julie. I wonder if Julie even saw that. Like, again, Jerry says, did you know if you put your camera on Joe's flag on his hoodie, it shows Trump holding his fist up in the air?
He's trying to start some shit.
These people are chomping at the bit
to fight.
For a fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we're the UFC they just tuned into. They want the fight. They want the violence. They want the intrigue. They want the, yeah.
Well, Jerry and Carter, I know we give you the fight every single day, but Kelin's mental health is more important. And so we changed gears purposely. But do you see how she's teasing to talk politics, even though she doesn't want it, can't handle it at this point, and all of you are pressuring her into talking about something we know is not going to be good for her today.
It's just so futile. It's so futile. It's so hypocritical. And what's even more annoying is it doesn't matter what you say. Nobody listens to anything anyone's saying. They just take it wildly out of context. You could say, oh my God, this person was in a really dangerous situation. What are you, victim blaming? No, I said it was a dangerous situation. Oh, you think they deserve to die? What are you talking? That's not at all what I said. Or I could say, hey, they've got a job to do. Oh, you're on their side. No, I didn't hire them. Somebody else hired them to do this. Oh, so you think it's fine? What? Like you can't say anything without people just waiting to be like, I'm going to twist your words. This is why we said I'll never be in politics ever. People talk to fight. They don't listen. They don't hear what you're saying in order to get information. They listen for the buzzwords to push back. They will tell you what you meant by that instead of actually trying to see what you meant by that.
You just pointed at me. I'm triggered.
I know, wasn't that threatening? I'm threatening you. I'm threatening you. You could say, I like pizza, and they want to know, why don't you like chicken? I like chicken. How about chicken pizza? Oh my God, what are you? A psycho? Like, what? Like, you can't say anything on the internet. Anything. Everybody gets hate. One of my favorite makeup artists to watch on YouTube is an incredible artist. She does amazing work. She's fascinating to watch. And she made a whole video about how she almost gave it up because people make fun of the way her hands look. They're normal hands. There's nothing wrong with their hands. It's just rage-inducing, ridiculous content.
You know she's not AI? You know that for a fact?
Yes, I know.
Because AI struggles with hands, at least.
No, she is a normal-looking, pretty. She's good-looking human being. And I'm just like, our world is so full of psychopaths that they become that. First of all, it's probably bots, and people don't even know that. We buy into AI, bad AI, and believe it to be truth, and then we become it. We become that thing. We become the angry, judgmental, non-listening people. Julie said, I wrote Kelin a letter. How do I get it to her? Mail it here, I guess.
Yeah. Look up Youngstown Studio and mail it.
I'm getting a letter?
Yeah.
Is it a good letter? Is it a bad letter?
See the mystery.
Ooh,
I do agree with the
intrigued.
Tuesday flight booking. I have done it for 20 plus years, and it's true. P.S. I agree with both of you. And Joe, almost always sorry if my text felt leading.
LOL.
Okay. No, Jared, don't apologize. Just because the MLO bros are unreasonable and can't tell when you're joking we've got good chemistry here. So keep it up.
We like Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry's good. Jerry's cool.
Jerry's good people. Julie's good people. Carter's good people.
Are you at all interested in the Olympics, by the way?
Not really. Especially because they're Winter Olympics. And I just don't know. Why, are you?
No, everything that you used to unify countries for, just being loyal to the athletes that are representing you on the world stage has diminished, where we can't be proud or interested in what makes us great. Yeah. So the Olympics are kind of like, I don't know, they've been neutered as far as I'm concerned.
Like, why do I not know a thing about what sport you can watch, but I know that the Olympic camps are like rampant with sex and STDs? Like, that's what I've heard. I've heard that the Olympic, what are they called? The athlete camps, the athlete towns, that they go to the Olympic location and they live among each other for a while, and it's just wild parties and sex and disease shares. Why do I hear that? I couldn't tell you what sport is part of it. I don't know. I know an Olympic gold medal winner from a couple Olympic games ago. A girl I knew took home gold in shooting, and she was worked on Fort Benning, where my husband was stationed, and I knew her through some people, and she won a gold medal, and I got to like hold it and wear it, and those things are heavy.
So let's make a prediction. There's going to be a scandal, because that's why people will pay attention to it. So if they just don't populate it with at least one scandal. So do you think it's going to be sex and drugs and partying? Do you think it's going to be doping or performance enhancing drugs for the athletes? No. Do you think it's going to be equipment or the things they wear that's going to give advantage? What do you think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be, what gender are you? What's your biological sex? And is there any wrongdoing in this event?
Okay. So people were participating outside of their gender.
Those are the hot buttons. Yep. That's the most scandalous. Man. I think juicing, doping is overdone. People don't care. I think we are in a culture that we got to ramp it up. We got to get more and more controversial. I think somehow somebody will spin a sport to come back around to men and women's sports or whatever, and we'll find a way to fight about that. We'll find a way to use something that should unify us. It should be us against the world, right? It's friendly competition with all these other countries, and let's all support each other. Go Team USA. And it'll be like, why would I cheer for USA? And in this day and age, what do we have to cheer for? And we're at a civil war, and we're at each other's throats. And that's the narrative.
So the one thing I think worked against viewership on the last Olympics is where it was held was like in the middle of the night for most of us, and most of us would not watch something that was on tape delay.
Yeah.
We're watching it 6
I only watched it because I had a newborn baby, so I was up.
So what time is it in Italy right now?
I don't know. What time is it in Milan? Look up Milan.
All right, it is 4:17 p.m.
Oh.
So our mornings will be filled with any of the evening stuff. That's doable.
Yeah.
That's completely workable.
Yeah. Oh, it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm. But my request is, let's focus on the dominance of extraordinary athletes versus athletes, and don't get hung up on anything that's not that.
I'm pretty sure when we first started our podcast, we were talking a lot about the opening ceremony, and did it or did it not mock the Last Supper? Did it feature homosexuals or not? Was it tongue in cheek or was it art? Like, we had this whole like controversial view about the opening ceremony and what it was. Like, that's what people focus on.
Yeah, and I don't know if being in Italy I think the biggest problem is they took the opening ceremony, instead of making a historical gesture, they gave it to artsy fartsies that wanted to make a statement. And anytime you say that they're going to make a statement, it's going to be controversial and piss a lot of people off.
Oh, I loved, I think it was an Olympic event where Celine Dion performed. To me, that is like, not only am I a Celine Dion fan, but Celine Dion has been battling a very serious health condition. She is Celine Dion. and she was unable to sing and she couldn't use her voice. So to come to a stage that large and perform in front of the world for the first time, spending months, if not years, unable to sing and deliver that, to me, that was like, that's what we need. That's the opening performance because of what it represents and what it means.
Can we just agree that we don't need to use a beloved thing like the Olympics as political for statements?
The Olympics, movies, music, award shows. I think we can use all kinds of things to not push division. That, I think, is what makes it so filled with fatigue, is like, you want to watch something that's going to make you feel bad? Turn on the news, go online and go to social media. Where do we have just our checkout Zen content? Where is the that's why I think I got so into otter videos lately. I watch a lot of otter videos. It's just cute and adorable fun, and nobody's arguing, and they're just so cute, and it's pointless. I sit there and I watch little otters eat fish and swim, and that's it. And I'm just like, this is awesome, because it's not raising my cortisol level.
But see, that's how they bait you. They give you the otters, and then they bring some otter policies. Once they have the audience there, they know, like, this is a stage. I need to shove it down your throat, what I want you to hear. And they're going to use your cute, adorable otters
to
get political
waiting
messaging.
For these animal activists to be like, why do you own otters? Why are there otters in captivity? Why aren't they out in the wild? You're feeding them. They're now dependent on you, and they can't be a wild animal anymore. You've crippled them. Well, here it comes. Now my otter videos are ruined. Mm-hmm. And Carter over there just trying to kick a bee's nest. I'll be watching hockey because our country is good on ice.
Mm-hmm. They are good on ice. We have great players that play hockey very well.
Do you like hockey?
I do. I like hockey when I know the players. I know something about them. It's almost like NASCAR. Like if you're just watching cars go around, but you're not buying into the storylines of who they are and how they're fighting and whatever. You got drivers to follow. You got actual players to follow. It changes the dynamic of the game.
Yeah, I think I like hockey and baseball in person. I like to go like local. Like here it's the Phantoms. Used to be the Cottonmouths where I used to live, or the River Dragons. Like it's a local. It's your town. You feel invested. You feel like you can support it, and you can see. Like I can see what's going on. It's not a little dot on a TV. Right. And the fights.
You like the fights?
I do like
Wait
the
a
fights.
minute. Are you being hypocritical that the fighting?
Listen, I am multifaceted. Oh. I love the fights. I do. I think that makes it more interesting. And you're like, yeah! As long as nobody gets seriously injured. I want it to be in good fun.
Okay. Like
UFC. When I was a kid, I didn't want to watch UFC because I was like, oh, it's so violent. And then I'd be like, no, it's kind of cool. Okay, I'm in it. Let's fight.
The desensitizing.
It is.
The Walking Dead was the same way for me. When I watched the first couple episodes the first times, I was squeamish about what I was seeing. And then like I couldn't eat while I was watching because it was so gross. And then by like the second season, I was eating while I was watching heads exploding. And
so I can't believe that I'm saying this, but I've never watched The Walking Dead. But I have seen reels and snippets of it. And I watched, for some reason, the scene where that Neo or whatever killed that Glenn dude. And that messed me up.
The baseball bat to the eyeball scene. Yeah, that was.
I couldn't.
Because we all loved Glenn. It would be your otter. Glenn was our otter. So you're watching the otter and it's being all cute. And then somebody comes up behind it with a baseball bat. That's what what's in store.
Just so graphic and so what's funny too is like when I got in my car and I was driving to work this morning and I saw the temperature just decline outside. Like at one point my car was reading -9. And you know what the first thought vision in my head was? Was that guy going, well, pardon my goddamn French, but did you just threaten me? Like that's what I heard as I looked at that. Like, are you threatening me right now? Lowering that temperature? Carter says the fights on here are fun too.
Yeah. And we'll get back to fighting later in the week, I'm sure. It's just part of our gig, I guess. But we wanted to give you one reprieve day where we just go peripheral. We don't go full on.
I needed it. I mean, I'm not like, there are times where it will be on my mind 24/7.
My next question for you could go political. I want you to fight the urge to make it political. Just give me your opinion.
You can't give opinions on the internet.
No, you can. This is just you and I. These people over here don't even pay attention to them.
Oh my God.
It's just you and I.
Here we go.
The Super Bowl we know who's going to be in the Super Bowl now.
We know both teams?
We know both teams now.
Oh, I thought we only knew one.
No, it finished off.
New England
lost. Yes, and Seattle.
I called it.
Did you really?
Oh my God, my son's going to laugh so hard. I don't watch football.
Mm-hmm.
All I was told were the 4 teams that was up against. And I said, my son's like, Mom, who do you think it's going to be? I was like, this logo, is that New England? Yep. Okay. What's this bird logo? And they said what are they?
Seahawks.
Seattle Seahawks. I said, those two. It's going to be that team and that team. And I was right.
You were right. Yeah, it's not surprising that New England, they're used to going to Super Bowls under Belichick. They went a bunch, and then they had a complete erosion, and they had a couple bad years where they were just awful. So they rebuilt, and this is a new New England team that has gone there.
This isn't the deflate gate or whatever.
No, Belichick, and he got snubbed at the Hall of Fame, by the way. He didn't pass first round of induction, and so Belichick, arguably one of the most important coaches of my lifetime, right? And didn't get an induction.
But his 20-year-old girlfriend's wiping away his tears.
He's
like, oh, I care.
Yeah. So anyway, Bad Bunny is performing at the halftime show.
Here we go.
Bad Bunny, who is he's rap, right? I don't really listen.
I don't know him that well. I think maybe Latin hip hop rap.
Okay.
I don't.
Well, he's going to be performing in a dress as a statement during the Super Bowl in the entertainment segment. We don't know the plight of transgenders at this time. So he needs to make a statement to make us all realize that there is an unseen portion. So that dress represents all of us reasonable people who are going to be like, yes, I am now ready to pay attention to the plight.
I heard that.
Yes.
And then I heard that's not true.
What?
That he's not wearing a dress. I heard that he said that's not true.
Oh, I'm going to Snopes it.
Yeah, I just recently, I think it was in my radio show prep site for my radio job that they said that that's not true. Bad Bunny.
Oh, you might be right.
Bad Bunny not wearing a dress during Super Bowl halftime show, according to the radio station. Bad Bunny to wear dress at Super Bowl 2026 show, ? Do you see how all of these search results are the controversial headline? There's one stating he's not, and all the rest either say he is or they say, is he? ? Click here to find out. Is Bad Bunny doing it? Click here to find out. Bad Bunny's rumored Super Bowl show. What's actually happening? Do you see what they do?
So do you think that was reaction bait? They wanted to float that rumor just to see if conservatives would pounce on it?
I think it is.
Okay.
Now, if he does, now I will question, was that the plan all along? Or is he like, oh, any publicity is better than no publicity?
You know who I blame for this?
Who?
Janet Jackson.
Janet Jackson, the wardrobe malfunction.
The first memorable controversy in my lifetime. And that it was rehearsed and planned, and it was just to get people talking about it.
You don't think it was on accident?
No, it was not on accident.
How about people like bashing Justin Timberlake, saying he like scorned her over it, like he did it?
Mm-hmm. But, and then you'd have the like you had Michael Jackson, and you had Aerosmith, and you had all these non-controversial, just a display of entertainment, playing songs that everybody loved in a concert type of setting, and it was good entertainment. And everyone you had, who was the Satanist guy, the Weeknd, right? Then you had what was last year's? We had the Snoop Dogg
it was, one. Drake, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, and then the little spat with another artist. Like it's always going to be entertainment that's on the side of creating a villain of some kind. So we'll all freaking talk about it. So Bad Bunny is just another villain, right?
Yeah.
That they're going to use to get half the crowd fired up loving it and half the crowd fired up hating it.
Julie says, Kelin, I think you have allowed the last few days to cloud your spirit. Don't let them get you down. You're right, Julie. You're right.
But this was a session. You got it all off of your chest, and I hope you feel better because of it.
I do. Who was your favorite Super Bowl halftime show?
I would say Aerosmith was probably the best.
Oh, I remember they played, but I don't remember it much. My husband was just talking about Prince. And I only have a very, very faint memory of Prince, but he performed Purple Rain in the rain. And I said, was it real rain or did they make it rain on the stage? And he's like, I think it was really raining. And if that's true, that's even cooler. You know who I jammed. Like I was looking forward to it. I danced and sang along. I was amped when it was Eminem, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent.
Oh, so terrible.
Oh, it doesn't even matter. I couldn't tell you what songs they did. I was so amped to see these people from my youth.
All right. So here's the years of the most memorable Super Bowl halftime shows. We've got Michael Jackson in 1993.
Yeah, I was like 9. So
we got Aerosmith in 2001.
And NSYNC.
No, they were there, but it was Aerosmith.
I love NSYNC.
U2, again, not a big fan of U2, so that one wasn't memorable.
Don't remember that one.
Prince in 2007. Bruce Springsteen in 2009. Beyonce. I can remember that one being pretty good.
It was, again, also controversial in small ways.
And Katy Perry, very unmemorable. I don't remember that one too much.
That's the thing is if it doesn't create controversy, you don't remember it.
Lady Gaga, don't remember that one either. J-Lo and Shakira.
I remember a little bit of that.
All right. Well, they got to up the ante and they got to make it more memorable by creating.
Yeah.
How do you feel about like when I was growing up, you always had the hero of the story was the person who was virtuous and moral and did, sacrifice themselves for the greater good. And then after that, then we went to villain worship where we took our favorite villain and sort of like with the Sopranos and Breaking Bad and Dexter, like now and Negan from The Walking Dead, we take these people who are wretched people, right? Mm-hmm. And they're our favorite characters.
Yeah, like you're Joker. Rooting for them.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And trying to get explainers of what made them go so wrong, but still pulling for them, kind of,
Yeah.
So it's weird how we're in this, and my grandmother would say that in your lifetime, the devil is going to take over and what is right is going to become wrong and society is going to hell, right?
Harvey Dent, Two-Face, said, you either die a hero or live long enough to watch yourself become the villain.
We're in the devil era, the demonic, people are terrible era.
Carter says, Patricia says Prince was good. I do think Prince was good. Most people will watch the Turning Point halftime show. I forgot about that until recently. I saw it come up again online. I forgot there's this whole other halftime show that Turning Point USA is putting on.
Well, I heard about it a couple of months ago, maybe in November, and I have heard nothing since. So I don't know.
I still don't know who's performing or what they're doing. I've just heard that it's happening.
Well, they're running out of days to get.
Yeah.
Let's see if it's a real thing now. Oh, just 3 hours. Okay.
Confirmed. Blah, blah, blah. Rivaling Bad Bunny. Blah, blah, blah. The Puerto Rican rapper. Blah, blah, blah. So what are you doing? We all know what the real halftime show is doing. Show is set for the 8th. Got it. Got it. Bad Bunny's performing.
Just tell me what I'm here
Oh my God,
for.
that's all this is. There's no actual, do you think they want it to be a surprise?
I don't know.
Or do they not have any? And here's the thing. Here's what I'm most annoyed about. Bad Bunny may be a very talented artist. I don't know. I'm just not in that realm. I don't follow his stuff. He could be great, and I'm sure he's got a fan base. I'm just not in it. Much like Bruce Springsteen is fabulous. I just don't listen to a lot of Bruce Springsteen. Prince is amazing. I only know Prince's biggest hits. So I don't follow Bad Bunny simply because I just don't. So I'm intrigued to see what Turning Point's going to do. And I might turn it on to be like, is it an artist I know more about? Is it an artist whose songs I am more familiar with? I think I'll go look. And you know what that says about me? Oh, I'm some kind of right-wing, MAGA supporting Trumpster who wants to go and just look at a bunch of whatever.
All right, so let's just say
simply because I'm curious as to what musical artists might perform.
So let's just say there's 3 of them, right? I'll just name you the ones that are most likely.
Okay.
Lee Greenwood performing, Kid Rock performing,
Jason
Aldean performing. Now, if they put a halftime show, you're watching the Super Bowl and they break for the halftime, we're like, Bad Bunny's coming up. I don't want to do this. So let's switch over to Turning Point. If those 3 artists, which are you going to want to watch more? Those 3 artists or Bad Bunny?
I know the songs from those 3 artists. I don't know any Bad Bunny songs.
So you're more likely to watch the artists.
What I will most likely do is flip back and forth between both so that I see both. Okay. I want to know how they both do. I would probably relate to an artist that has a song I know. I've heard Bad Bunny's going to sing in Spanish, and I don't speak Spanish, so it may not resonate with me as a song that I'm familiar with will, but I'll probably switch back and forth and see what they're both doing.
So I'm there for the football and the commercials, right?
Yeah, the commercials.
So I will not take a pee break just so that I can watch all the commercials. When halftime gets there, I will probably be in the restroom for about 37 minutes before I come back, right?
You're like, I don't care about any of it.
I will tell you that I don't think there'll be a lack of summary as to what happened while I was in the restroom. Okay, so whatever happens, and if it's really good, I'll go watch it on replay. I don't need to watch that shit live at all. There's nothing in desire to skip and, maybe get a bladder infection or, other things that to sit through a halftime show. It's my bathroom break.
How do you feel? Oh, Carter says, and Jelly Roll and Morgan Wallen.
Okay.
Who's the guy that plays in Youngstown all the time? From Stained? BJ, who am I thinking of? Aaron Lewis? Who's the guy that plays in Youngstown all the time? He's a real big, conservative.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I feel like it's Aaron something. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. I think it could be him too. Plays in Youngstown all the time. Was he from Stained or no? Aaron something maybe. Real big conservative guy.
Aaron Lewis, but he's not played Youngstown before. I think he might have played Cavelli once, but
that could. I think it's Aaron Lewis is who I'm thinking of. I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of those performers too. But all right. I'm gonna put on my fighting gloves. I'm not going to fight this fight. I'm just going to throw a grenade and let you all jump on it.
Okay.
How do you feel about ICE being at the Super Bowl? I keep seeing these headlines too. Have you seen that? ICE will be at the Super Bowl. ICE will be at the Super Bowl. ICE agents at the Super Bowl. I don't even know if it's true or not, but here are the headlines now just to get people all revved up. Let's get people revved up. Let's get a headline out there. ICE agents to be at the Super Bowl. How do you feel about that?
I don't think it's true. I think it's one of those.
I don't know if it's true.
ICE is at the Super Bowl just to get people fired up. I think
because what they're implying is ICE is going to be there just waiting to arrest all the Hispanic speaking people that are there to support Bad Bunny. Mm-hmm. That's the idea.
Right.
That's the grenade they're throwing out there.
Yeah. I don't think it's true.
Everybody fight.
If I'm doing law enforcement operations, I am not going to an event that has, hundreds of thousands of people and thinking that that's going to be the best way to
sounds a little risky.
Yeah, it's not a good strategy. So I doubt that's the case.
Jerry says, I heard that Bad Bunny is going to do Lee Greenwood's Proud to be an American in Spanish, accompanied by exploding MAGA heads. What if?
Dude, that would be amazing. If? That would be freaking amazing.
If you were a performer... If you're a performer in this day and age, would you make your Super Bowl performance right now something pushing a narrative, or would you try to do something
go right
that's
music.
unifying?
Again, I hate when, actors that I love get too political, and then every time I watch a stupid movie with them in, I don't hear their ability. I hear their screeching voices about politics, and it ruins the characters for me. If I never knew De Niro's politics or, it would be better for my enjoyment. I'm not there to hear your opinion on politics.
What's his face? Mark Ruffalo.
Same thing.
Went on a tangent at, I think it was I don't know if it was the Critics' Choice Awards or the Oscars or whatever the heck. I think it was the Oscars maybe. And all I can think is, can we just watch a movie?
Yeah.
Can we just talk about movies?
Give me my distraction away from everything else and save your political messaging. But the thing is, we're super lazy about it now. Where if you took a movie that happened from the 70s and beyond, they would put political messaging in there, but it would be subtext. It would be really underneath the storyline. So it wasn't overt in your face. You can't understand it, so I'm going to give you the words kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? If the Wizard of Oz was a pushback against capitalism, right? I never got that message. I just enjoyed the movie, and it was good enough that I didn't have to, the politics, maybe it was meaningful to some people, but I could just enjoy the movie and not ever notice that you had political messaging in there. Now we just get super overt about it, and you can't help. Like during that the Secret Apartment documentary, they went into the artsy stuff, but they had lines in there, and they can't help themselves. When the camera's at them, they make these political messaging, and I just go, these dudes, they were taking cinder blocks, and they came up with this scheme that they were in a parking garage, and they're building a wall in their little apartment, and they were stacking cinder blocks on emergency exit. Now, when they opened the door for the emergency exit, the alarm would go off, right? Mm-hmm. And then so security would come along, and if they got these people that are taking cinder blocks and moving them down a stairwell, they had to come up with some kind of explainer. Okay, so we got the plot thickens. Now they open it and they got the cinder blocks, and security comes around the way, right? And the guy was quick on his feet. He was like, hey, my car broke down right now. We're carrying these cinder blocks down. I just came from Home Depot. I just happen to have cinder blocks in here. We're carrying them down to the first level so we could put them in our other car and take them back to our house. And security then says, okay, that's reasonable. And they drive away. Okay, so we're like, oh, the villain escaped being done. I'm bought in.
You didn't catch him.
And what happened? What was the next line in it? Well, I want to first point out that if we were black or brown, they would have never allowed us to carry cinder blocks down here. And I have to point out that we have white privilege, and the only reason we got away with that is because we were white. And I was like, click, gone. I wasn't going to watch any more beyond that line.
They literally do that?
They literally said that. They couldn't help themselves but point out that there were other people that would have got caught, and they would have never bought the cinder block thing.
You remember the movie Crash? Who was in it? Sandra Bullock was in it. What's his name? There's a black guy. Well, two big name black guys are in there. It was Terrence Howard and what's his name? Don Cheadle. And it follows the storyline of several people in their lives. And it's called Crash because they eventually all interact together. And it has an instance that looks like racism, an instance that looks like abuse, an instance that looks like any of these social orders, you name it, it's in there. And then they back up the story to see, why did this person come off as that? What just happened to them before they got in that situation, and what just happened to this person before they got in that situation? And here's another instance where two people were fighting, and where they were before that, where they were before that. And it's a background to show what they brought into that crash when they interacted together. And it's a beautiful movie. Everybody needs to, in this day and age, go watch the movie Crash. And it's all about sort of giving each other grace and understanding and realizing where that person came from and why they came across that way. And sort of like making peace with each other in the end kind of thing. Like there was one storyline where this white cop abused this woman of color in a traffic stop. And then in the very end, this woman of color got in a horrific car accident. She was upside down. Her car was on fire. It was about to explode. Police came on the scene. This cop came in to save her, and it was the same cop. And she's like, don't you touch me. You get away from me. And he's like, listen, I know you hate me, but you have to trust me. I have to save your life. And it was like this real intense scene. And everybody's got to watch the movie Crash. So good.
And that's what movies used to take the approach, where if there was some kind of social thing, messaging they wanted to get across, they did it in a perspective that wasn't lecturing, but it basically set the stage for you to feel that emotions, that contrast. Kevin Spacey did one where he's a professor, and the messaging was that innocent people were put to death, and they concocted a situation where he was arrested, and they documented that he didn't do it, and he sacrificed himself being put to death when he could have been exonerated, and so that it was really well done. I forget the name of the movie.
That's interesting. It kind of sounds familiar. Yeah, I love it when there's like a lesson we can all get rather than just
The Life
accusing.
of David Gale. The Life of David Gale.
I
really,
never saw
really,
that.
really good movie. And but again, it was a higher order of messaging because you had to figure it out. It wasn't going to say, I want you to know the death penalty is wrong, and it's wrong because innocent people are trapped there. It was a story that made you leave with that message, but didn't punch you in the face with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let you come to your own conclusion.
Yeah, that's kind of like Crash is like, here's somebody that did a bad thing, but I kind of see why. It's not okay, but I understand where everybody's coming from, kind of thing. And it's not accusatory. They're good and you're bad. Let's fight them, the enemy. It's let's look at everybody and see how we got here and what we can do now. Like, oh, it's so good. Anybody seen the movie Crash? Please tell me what you thought about it.
And I didn't say before I gave my little summary that I just gave you the spoiler, the twist on The Life of David Gale.
Oh, spoiler alert.
I am sorry. Take that portion out of your brain if you want to go see that movie. What I told you might or might not be true.
But it's got Kevin Spacey, and a lot of people now don't like Kevin Spacey because he's been in the limelight of doing horrific things. Can you watch a movie and ignore the fact that he's been accused of horrific things? Have you heard about Kevin Spacey? Yeah. Like, that's hard to do. And I hate that. Like, I never had any beef with Mark Ruffalo. Now, I'm not interested in his movies just because I'm
But do
not.
You think if we took any one of those people and looked through their past, that they probably are not as likable as the illusion of their industry?
That they probably did something wrong?
Yeah, every single person.
Every single person. You open your mouth, you'll be accused of something wrong. You do something, you'll be accused of doing it wrong. Like, everybody can come across in some way as a villain to somebody else.
Yeah, it's exactly right. And we're addicted to that. And that's why they present it on a regular basis. So we pay attention to the dramas. It's WWE, right?
It is. Like Carter just sitting there. Do you think Carter logs on in the morning with a bucket of popcorn? He's like,
he's in his wrestling gear. He's putting on all
Carter's
of his
like,
costume,
I can't wait.
Ready to jump into the cage, man. Every
day.
Know
what I think gets me the most? And this is where I find it to be so sad, because it's sad enough when it's total strangers doing this to each other. It affects me more when I see my family and friends getting involved in hateful ways. And I got to see these people. I'm going to see you at Christmas, and I'm going to see you at this birthday party, and I'm going to see you in town, and I'm going to see you and like the person I got into it with on social media is somebody that I went to middle school with, high school with. We were always cool, and disagreed with something I said politically. And I reached out and I said, I think we might be on different pages here. Would you like to have a dialogue and a conversation about maybe what you heard and what I meant? No thanks. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. I was like, well, you know me, I'm not a hateful person. And if you ever want to hear my side of things, let me know. And she did. And we talked and it was okay. But that's where it gets so, I don't know, hopeless, I think, is it's easy to ignore the idiots on the internet that you don't know. They're a bot. They're an idiot. They don't affect me in any way. When it comes home, and now home is at each other's throats, it's like, this is too sad to tolerate. It just is.
And I think we make it worse because reasonable people like us will see something that is objectionable, and we either pass on it. We will try to keep our feelings, to not judge them based on how they feel. We'll take what we want to say and swallow it down. But they don't have that same kind of restraint. You'll watch something that they would say, and if you said something in your realm, they would disown you They would not hesitate for 1 minute to say something, and they would judge you for your side of things.
Like I could hear somebody that I love or care about say something, and I could think to myself, oh God, I think you're really misguided here. I know you. I know you're doing what you think is right. You're doing what you think is the right answer, the good answer, the noble answer. Your heart is in this. And so I don't fault you for that. I just think you're a little misguided. And my brain can leave it at that. But I feel like others can't. And I don't get that. I don't get that. I don't get the benefit of the doubt of Kelin. Oh, I know you're a good person. And I know that you care about people. And I know that you're coming at this from a place of caring about people. But I think you're misguided and you're not seeing what I'm seeing. No, it's blah, 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 whatever negativity, blah, blah, blah. I'm disappointed. Let's cut ties. And I'm like, wow, this is how manipulated we are. You could have known someone your whole life. Your whole life you've loved and respected this person. And you see a clip on the internet that you don't agree with, and they're dead to you. Like that is, if that doesn't speak volumes as to how our political leaders in this country have hurt this nation, I don't know what is. That's the most nefarious thing our political leaders have done to this country. And I'm talking about starting wars, and I'm talking about taking over countries, and I'm talking about getting people killed, and I'm talking about being greedy, and I'm talking about having hush money so that you can go and have affairs with women. And I'm talking about there's no prosecution when you break the law. There are no repercussions. The worst thing they have done to us is pit us against us. And there's a whole group of people that don't even see it.
All right, I'm going to change gears on you because you're getting ramped up, so I got to bring something out that's boring.
Julie says Carter is a little misguided. I'm wearing him down. I love you guys.
Solar panels. That's a huge, that was the best segue that I've ever done. Let's talk about
so
solar
weird
panels.
you bring that. I just saw something online about solar panels.
Did you?
It was like a company. It was like an ad or something for solar panels.
Yeah.
Yeah, God, AI is reading our brains.
That's right. And I knew you wanted to talk about solar panels, so
Oh,
I figured
yeah.
I would unleash you
Love
on solar panels.
Who doesn't love solar panels?
So solar panels, solar technology has been politicized for as long as I've been alive, right? Great technology. Usability is behind about 15 years. But so basically what it is you have photovoltaics that
You have what?
Photovoltaics.
I don't know what that means.
Okay, it's a process. We're taking photons and taking a reaction from the sun and creating a in the solar panel, creating an electron loss that makes usable electricity, right?
Okay.
And China destroyed the solar panel technologies from the 80s and beyond. It went nowhere for the longest time because we would create and invent it here, and they would steal our designs. They would take solar panels and distribute them minus any, like none of our industries can make money in solar. So they killed it for almost a decade by hijacking designs, right? So that's why solar panels have been around forever, but have never been all that usable because they're like 20% efficient. They've been terrible efficiency.
I didn't know
They're
that.
expensive. They don't produce a whole lot of electricity, and they only last for 20 years. So if you bought something, it would take you between 12 and 17 years to make your money back on it. It would cost you more than the amount of electricity can be, that it can create. So it's a hard sell, right?
Yeah.
But now that, the government subsidized that industry and created a lot of government funded versions of solar, a bunch of players jumped into that industry. And new innovations have happened here in the United States that have not yet been hijacked by China. So there's a new one called the golden balls, right? Solar panel. That is what? You got an objection to golden balls?
Didn't say anything.
They're kind of cute. They look like little planets.
The golden balls.
The golden balls. Anyway,
that was the most creative name they had. The golden balls.
Well, when you look
That's
at
innovative.
it's a sphere and it's golden. Put two and two together.
Oh no, we only have 4 minutes. Sorry, go on with the golden balls.
Okay, the golden ball. So anyway, we could use solar panels in to to basically power the entire United States. We could do it. It would require dedicating a lot of space out in like Arizona, Nevada, where they have blue skies all the time, and 12 hours of sunlight that's end up usable. You take a bunch of that public land and just put solar farms as far as you can see. It's unusable, undeveloped land anyway, so might as well use it for solar panels. But it's an incredibly expensive prospect, and the one that the government has tried to do and fumbled 100 different times, because the environmentalists want it, and they want to make it almost a religion of solar panels rather than let innovators make it so that it's a usable tool for generating electricity. And our biggest problem isn't the solar panels at this point. It's how to store the energy. Like, we use a lot of chemical batteries that, right, to be able to store it. You ever heard of a gravity battery?
No.
These things are freaking cool.
I'm not a scientist.
These are freaking cool. So
not Joe Danyi.
So instead of just having lots of like lithium-based, nickel-based, these all of these expensive chemical batteries, using mechanical means to be able to store energy. So picture this, and I know I only got a couple minutes here, but let me give you a quick gravity battery lesson. And they're doing this in China. They're building these structures, and think about like a 20-story building, right? And it's got framework on the outside, and it's got a really heavy stone, right? Really heavy stone in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's on a system where that stone could be pulleyed up to the top of the tower, right? So during the day, when the electricity is being generated, if you're not consuming it and using it, it's going to waste. If it's not charging a battery, or somebody's not using it with their light bulbs, that electricity just goes away, and you generated it, but it wasn't consumed. But you need to be able to store it. So in this case, while the electricity is going, this thing is lifting a stone all the way to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the electricity is powering the pulley system to pull it to the top. Now, once the sun goes down, that stone uses gravity to pull those cables slowly down, and they spin a turbine at the bottom, right? So use the electricity to lift, and then it uses the stone and gravity when it's dropping to do a turbine. So you basically stored that energy using a heavy stone to create energy when the sun's not out anymore. It's a way of flopping it between the two. Electricity when the sun's out, stone when the sun's not out. It's really interesting.
Science rules.
It does. All right, we're going to get out of here. And I hope my gravity stone calmed you down.
Thinking, you said flopping, and now I'm thinking about flopping golden balls.
You had to do it.
Had to do it.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you for listening to this show on Youngstown Studio. This is original Youngstown content. Feel free to share our videos and tell your friends about us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel